You. I'll make you famous. Let's try and do something famous here. Cowboys are gonna do. No, we're not gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Then I'm gonna do it, and then once we did it, you're gonna. Are you keeping up yet? We've got a lot of requests for our Basque burned cheesecake, and when we heard that, we thought this is something the Cowboys want to do because we can do it in cast iron. We can do it with a Yoder Smoker, and it's delicious. And we're gonna make it gluten free. So you need to keep up. This is not a cooking program. This is Cowboys doing their thing. Sometimes things don't go really as it should, but hopefully today it will. How do you make one of these Basque burnt cheesecakes? It is apparently a Spanish thing. You can go Google this thing all yourself. I'm not going to give you the background around it, but it's a very simple process. Basically, in the cast iron, make the batter, in the smoker, let it rest, in the fridge, done. Beautiful. We're going to make a little compote as well with it. And if you don't know what a compote is, it's a really beautiful syrupy berry, sweety, cooly kind of thing, which goes well with the cheesecake. And young Cowboy likes to put some ice cream with the thing as well. Cheesecake, simple thing. What you need is cream cheese, cream, eggs, a little bit of flavoring. We got some lemon, vanilla, and sugar and smoke. Okay, first thing we're going to do, 430 gram cheese, cream cheese at room temperature. So, Cowboy style. Oh shoot. We just zeroed the thing. Let's try again. We're going to zero it. I forgot we're making this recipe double. So 430 times 2 is how much? 860? Okay. 860. Why?
You zeroed it again.
I'm watching you, fucking watching you. Does it again.
Oh no.
Something's wrong. Let's try. Let's move the scale. Let's move the scale over there. Okay, cheese back in the bowl. Time for cream cheese. Cream cheese.
It's zeroed again. Can you tell people why it's zeroing?
This very fancy scale. You don't have to touch it to zero it because you don't want to dirty your hands, because every time somebody pokes this thing, it zeros. And then it's dirty and you have to wash it and it's COVID and you've got the spray and you've got the loppy and the just long story. So it's fancy. You just have to wave in front of it. If it waves, it zeros. But if you work too close to it, it zeros all the time. So I'm going to move further away. Here's our scale to make sure we don't zero it by accident. Wavy, you ready to go? Just testing. So that's 468. How much did we need, Cowboy? 860, give or take. Okay. You can buy very fancy cream cheese. Cowboys don't do that. We buy cheap because it's all in the technique. 460. We need 860, so we need to add 400 more. Then the big challenge is just to get it out of the little bag. 860 it is. 120 sugar, 120 grams, that's 240 grams sugar. Ta-dum-da-dum. Done. There's your sugar, Cowboy. You can take the sugar. Whoops. Shoot. What did it?
Break your stuff now.
Here's the finicky part, because you are supposed to have your cream cheese. I didn't tell you this before, but you are supposed to get your cream cheese out of the fridge, nice and warm, room temperature, because if you don't, you're going to battle with it now. So the idea is you need to cream your cream cheese with the sugar. And my little machine has always struggled. Keep it slow, buddy. Keep it slow. Folding in some cream cheesy key. This is going to take effort, I know, because I've done it before. So you have to do your thing. Scrape it off. So this is the most difficult part about making the cheesecake, is if you don't have it at room temperature, you're going to battle with this step. But we will just keep on working with it nicely. Ask it politely. Cream yourself. Thank you. 3 large eggs, room temperature. We're making it double, so we need 6 large eggs. There's a trick with the eggs when you make cheesecake. It's a little important. If you don't get it right, you'll be in trouble. On the cream side, 270 for 540 cream. Okay, we need to put 540 creams. So this is heavy cream. There you go, 540. We got the creams done. We got the eggs done. We got what are we missing, Cowboy? Heavy cream, 40 grams cake flour. You see, and this is a funny thing, and this is where usually they use normal flour. We just use our good old gluten-free flour, and we don't need a lot. It's like 40 grams, and for that I've got a special scale here so that we can do the minute weights. 40 grams, come on, you can do it. Ta-dam, 40 grams. And all this is gonna do is bind it together so that we don't lose any of the integrity. 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, teaspoon. What's a teaspoon? 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. You never have too much vanilla. So there you go, beautiful vanillas. The last thing we need, we're just gonna leave a bit of a mark. Lemon juice. Okay, so here's the lemon juice. Don't put it with the cream. Cream is not gonna like it. We're gonna add it a little bit later. Assembly time. It's all there. Okay, first things first. I'm gonna put the cream in. I'll put the flour in. Then I'm gonna put the eggs in. So only time I'm gonna tell you gonna, because this thing's making a noise. That's why you need to stay with me, and then eventually we'll put the lemon juice in to cut through the sweetness. We got the sugar, we got our cream cheese. This is basically the jobby. So fire away. So I say, fire in the hole. Cream is getting in there. Just as. Never leave any behind. All children needs to get inside the hole. Flours a little bit at a time so we don't have any lumps. Thank you, there you go. In case you were wondering, this is an automatic mixer. It goes where it goes. You just have to keep up with it. As you can see, I didn't touch any dials. It's going high, go low, and so forth. So the Cowboys is in need of a new mixer. The reason why this one is a little bit broken is we've done a few nougats with him, and if you know how nougat works, you'll understand why this is not so tin 4 anymore. There we go. A little lemon for flavor. Okay. Come on, you can do it. Now we get some speed going. This is where it becomes important. Moment of sanity. You need to put the eggs in, but you need to put them one at a time in, because you want the eggs to emulsify with your mixer. I know it's very technical what I just used here, but if you don't do that, it doesn't mix properly with the rest of the stuff, because there's a whole lot of fat in this, and if you don't do the eggs one after each other, you're going to end up with a mess. It's not going to cook the way it should be. In fact, you get the picture. So 1 egg at a time. There goes number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and number last. Make sure you scrape all the stuff off the sides, because there's always some cream cheese that doesn't want to play ball with the rest of the cream cheeses. So all I usually do is I give it a good scrape. Make sure, because you're using a defective piece of equipment, that everything is mixed in, even at the bottom, because this old fellow that we work with here is not cooperating as it should. How much mixing? Until it's done. Just let it all incorporate nicely. No need for air. It's a nice, smooth, silky mixture. You'll see that in a minute. I just want to get our pan going. The pan has a very interesting technique associated with it. We're going to use some parchment paper. And as you probably figured out by now, is burnt cheesecake does not have a base or a crust like normal cheesecakes do, because the actual cheesecake becomes the crust if you do it right. And the way we cheat with that is a little bit of butter. And it's not for the cooking process, the butter is basically to keep our parchment paper in the pot. Onto this one. And up. Okay, not a complicated setup. Because we're baking, you wanna really juice up your smoker. I like to run it at about 350 Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna give a good Yoder a push here. It goes on. Here's the key. It's very important. You're baking. This thing is gonna puff up. It's gonna make like a souffle. And if you open this lid, it's gonna collapse and your cake is done for it. So you need to be very sure how long you're gonna be in here, and no peeking, because if you peek, you crash your cake. You don't wanna crash your cake. It's gonna cool down and then crash, and that's a whole different thing that we'll discuss later. So I'm beefing it up, making sure there's enough pellets, baby in the oven. What do you reckon, Cowboy? Couple of hours?
Yep.
Couple of hours.
Couple hours.
Okay. If it's not, I'll give you the verdict at the end. But you look for something that's really nice and caramelized on the outside, not burned. It's called burnt cheesecake. It's not really burned, nice and brown, but I'll show you later. So I think you need to go watch, by the way. There's lots of stuff for you to watch. The question is, why do we do cheesecake in a Yoder 1500 smoker? And the answer is actually quite simple. Number one is obviously we like cheesecake as the Cowboys, and I know you do too. But on the other hand, we want to show you how enormously versatile this cooker is, and the fact that you can do your slow cooks, you can grill your steaks, which we still have to show you, and then you can actually bake bread in it. And if you can bake a cheesecake, you can bake many other things. But let's check it. Let's see how our cheesecake is looking. And the way you check it is jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. If it jiggles in the middle, it means it's cooked. Cowboy, you see that little jiggle? Okay. You want it creamier or you want it drier? Yeah? No? Creamier? Drier? Yeah? Creamier. Okay. Then it's almost time to pull it off. If you want it drier, you let it go a little longer and it gets more of a crust. And anyway, I think a few more minutes. What do you reckon? Yeah? A few more minutes? Yes. Okay, this is a race to the finish. Otherwise, because it's really, really hot. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Now what you will see is it's gonna collapse. Because, smell that. What you want is for this to cool down overnight. Then in the fridge, then you got a really nice creamy center with a nice bark around it, so it's got its own crust. And that's really, simple. That's cheesecake, Yoder, Cowboy style. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at the next one.